Can you tell us like a little bit about how you juggle like creating this incredible series, this incredible universe, while also working full time and parenting 4 children, and you also work at the local church, and how do you have time? How do you find time to write?
So this is a really good question, because and I think other people who are starting out as being an author, they might run through the same thing. I've got a full-time job. How do I find time to write that? And one of the things I like to say is just write that first draft. It doesn't matter if it's clean or looks good or if it's got misspelled words. Just get that first draft out, because that's when you can come back and actually correct it all and make it happen. And, for me, how do you juggle all of that? It's been a blessing I think it's a blessing to be in the roles that I'm in. I'm a developer, and one of the things that as a developer that I've learned over the years is how to be able to work on something when I'm not actually working on it. Mm-hmm. So you're driving in a car and you're solving a problem in your head, and there's a lot of people that can do that. And for me, those moments when the book comes in, I remember all that. You don't necessarily get a piece of the book and then forget that piece of the book. You get the piece of the book and it's like there, and you can't get rid of it until you go and write it down. So once you do find that time, which is hard to do, once you do find that time, then you can put it on paper. But I will say this, I find that when I realize that I've got that time to write, mm-hmm. that everything else in the world will try to stop me from writing at that time. Yeah. And I believe that's one of the tricks of the devil. I believe that this is a blessed series. I believe that this is something that should be written. I believe that this is something that people should hear. I believe that it gives people avenues to see fiction that is, clean read, but also somewhat inspirational.
Yeah,
that is not your typical Christian type book. It's not necessarily not there's anything wrong with any other type of Christian book, but mm-hmm. it's not your typical Christian book. Some of the comments that we get are things like, I read through the whole book and then I realized there was no cuss words in it. And I was like, I had to go back and check just to make sure, and I think that's really cool, because we have opinions on whether those things really need to be inside of a book, and so I think when I do get those times to write, and then I think, the enemy is always trying to stop you from producing something that you were gifted to do. Mm-hmm. And I think you should, that everyone really should recognize, not just if you're an author, but in your own realm, God gives you gifts and wants you to use those gifts, whether that's being a musician, whether that's being an author, whether it's being a homemaker, whether it's homeschooling, no matter what it is, God gives you gifts to be able to do stuff. And when you find something trying to pull you from that gift, don't get upset at it. Just recognize that this is just the enemy trying to stop you from doing one of the things that God built you to do, and then focus and try to get it done, and sometimes you just have to break through a wall. I don't think I have problems with things like writer's block. Yeah. I think more so it would be, time block. How do you get that time back? And you could say, you mentioned that I work at the church also. You could say, why do that extra thing? Just write the book. Why put that extra time in on a weekend and ruin your whole weekend? Because God made you could do all of those things. It's not something that has to hold you back. I find more inspiration from going to church and hearing, we've been blessed to have several very, 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 very gifted pastors over our lifetime, mm-hmm. and hearing them preach a sermon, I get something out of that, and I turn around and all of a sudden that's in my book. Yeah. So it's just that way. It's just the way it works. So I just fight those urges to not do it and just go ahead and do it.